Hello friends, welcome to Mechanical Engineering online classes. Today's lecture will be delivered by Miss Shravanti Sriramoju.
The third and important failure theory for composite materials is the deviatoric strain energy theory, also called Psi-Hill criteria. For an isotropic material which is in 3D state of stress, the von Mises yield criterion is given by the following equation: sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square plus sigma 3 square minus sigma 1 sigma 2 minus sigma 2 sigma 3 minus sigma 3 sigma 1 is equal to sigma yp square, where sigma yp is the yield point of the material. So the stress at the yield point is written as sigma yp. But in actual practice, an isotropic metal subjected to 3D state of stress exhibits an isotropic behavior for large plastic deformations. Hence, Hill modified the above equation in the following way. Hill has given the modified equation as follows: a sigma 1 square plus b sigma 2 square plus c sigma 1 sigma 2 plus d sigma 6 square plus e sigma 3 square plus f sigma 2 sigma 3 plus g sigma 3 sigma 1 plus h into sigma 4 square plus I into sigma 5 square is equal to 1. This is the equation for a 3D state of stress. But if we further modify it for a two-dimensional state of stress, then we get the following equation: a into sigma 1 square plus b into sigma 2 square plus c into sigma 1 sigma 2 plus d into sigma 6 square is equal to 1. This is nothing but tau 1 2. So all the terms which are having 3, 4 and 5 as suffixes are being cancelled out because they are equal to 0. Only 1, 2 directions are existing. The third dimension is neglected. And let us name this equation as 1. So A, B, C, D are constants. They are constants and they depend on the material and nature of anisotropy. In the von Mises criterion, which is used for isotropic material, the amount of energy is used to distort the body rather than to change the volume. Whereas for anisotropic materials, distortion cannot be separated from dilation. Therefore, it is not a distortional energy failure theory. Further, Psi has made assumptions like the composite is transversely isotropic. 1, 2, 3 are the directions of the material, that is the principal material axis, and 1 is the fiber direction, and A, B, C, D depend on the values F1T, F1C and etc. That is the failure strengths. Now let us find out the constants A, B, C, D. For that, I am firstly applying in-plane shear loading which leads to failure. That means sigma 6 ultimate is equal to F6 and sigma 1 comma sigma 2 both equal to 0. Now I am substituting these values in equation 1. So what is equation 1? It is a sigma 1 square plus b into sigma 2 square plus c sigma 1 sigma 2 plus d sigma 6 square is equal to 1. So these two terms are nullified. This is also nullified because sigma 1 and sigma 2 are equal to 0. And what is sigma 6? It is sigma 6 ultimate. So it is sigma 6 ultimate square is equal to 1, which is again d into f6 square. The failure strength in 6 direction is equal to 1. So what is d? It is 1 by f6 square. So in order to find another constant, I am applying another test, which is a uniaxial transverse loading which leads to failure. So the load which is existing on the longitudinal axis of the component is 0. That is sigma 1 is 0. Similarly, there is no shear because it is uniaxial loading, and sigma 2 ultimate should be equal to F2. I am again substituting all these values in equation 1. If I substitute all these values in equation 1, I'll get that B is equal to 1 by F2 square. Similarly, in order to find the constant A, I'm again applying another test on the composite, which is uniaxial longitudinal loading which leads to failure. So sigma 1 ultimate should be equal to F1 because load exists in the longitudinal direction and all other loads are equal to zeros. Now I am substituting this again in equation 1. So I get A into F1 square plus all others are zeros is equal to 1. So A is equal to 1 by F1 square. Now in order to find the constant C, we have to perform a biaxial test because in the equation 1, C has both the coefficients sigma 1 and sigma 2. So here sigma 6 is equal to 0 and sigma 1 is not equal to 0 and sigma 2 not equal to 0. Now I'll substitute these values again in equation 1. Before proceeding further, let me consider a fiber whose longitudinal axis will be along its length and perpendicular to it is the transverse direction. Now strength along this particular axis, that is the longitudinal direction, is denoted as F1 because this is the fiber direction, and perpendicular to it is the transverse direction and the strength along that direction is denoted as F2. Now according to maximum stress theory, the strength in the failure strength in the longitudinal direction will be very much larger than the strength in the transverse direction. That is, the transverse direction, strength in the transverse direction is very much smaller compared to the strength in the longitudinal direction. Therefore, F2 is very much less than F1. Now we can conclude that a composite will fail when sigma 2 becomes equal to F2. As soon as sigma 2 reaches F2, the failure will occur. Now I will substitute all these values in the equation 1, which is A sigma 1 square plus B sigma 2 square plus C sigma 1 sigma 2 is equal to 1. So it is 1 by F1 square. A is 1 by F1 square into sigma 1 square plus what is B from the previous steps of the derivation. It is 1 by F2 square into sigma 2 square plus C sigma 1 sigma 2 is equal to 1. To further simplify the above equation, let me assume that sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2. Then if we rewrite the above equation, it will be 1 by F1 into sigma 1 square plus 1 by F2 square into sigma 2 square plus C into sigma 1 square is equal to 1. Now when will the failure occur? When sigma 2 is equal to F2. Therefore, sigma 1 square by F1 square plus 1 by f2 square into f2 square plus c sigma 1 square is equal to 1. So this becomes equal to 1. This term is 1 plus 1 plus c sigma 1 square is equal to 1. So sigma 1 square by f1 square plus c sigma 1 square is equal to 0. Sigma 1 square 1 by f1 square plus c is equal to 0. So this term can be cancelled out. So 1 by f1 square plus c is equal to 0. So c will be equal to minus 1 by f1 square. So now I will substitute all the constants back in equation 1. So substitute a, b, c, d in equation 1. So after substituting a, b, c, d constants in equation 1, we got the equation like this. Now I will rewrite this equation 1 in this form: sigma 1 by f1 whole square plus sigma 2 by f2 whole square plus sigma 6 by f6 whole square minus sigma 1 by f1 into sigma 2 by f2 is equal to 1. So in order to keep this equation in generalized form, I have taken f2 here. And f1 is nothing but f1t or f1c. So where t is for tension and c stands for compression. And similarly f2 is f2t or f2c. When the loads applied are off axis, that is the loads are applied in xy plane, not in 1-2 plane, then sigma 1 is equal to sigma x cos square theta, sigma 2 is equal to sigma x sin square theta, and sigma 6 is minus sigma x cos theta sin theta. If I replace these values in the previous equation, then I get sigma x cos square theta by f1 whole square plus sigma x sin square theta by f2 whole square plus minus sigma x cos theta sin theta by f6 whole square minus sigma x cos square theta by f1 into sigma x sin square theta by f2 is equal to 1. Then if x is equal to a sigma x ultimate, then I can replace this sigma x as fx because we are writing the equation for failure. So I am replacing sigma x with fx. fx by f1 whole square into cos power 4. I am writing cos theta as c. C is cos theta and S indicates sin theta plus fx by f2 whole square into sin power 4 plus fx by f6 whole square c square s square. So this minus 1 whole square becomes plus 1 minus fx by f1 fx by f2 c square s square is equal to 1. I can further simplify this in this form where fx square is taken common and taken onto the other side of the equation. So this becomes 1 by fx square. We can further simplify this equation by making an assumption that for advanced composites, f1 is very much larger than f6. So if f1 is very much larger compared to f6, so this f1, 1 by f1 will be a smaller number. So I can totally neglect this term and rewrite the equation as 1 by fx square is equal to c power 4 by f1 square plus s power 4 by f2 square plus c square into s square by f6 square. This is the Tsai-Hill criteria.
Thanks for watching. If this video was of help to you, please like it and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.